49ers at the Bengals, minus a point. That is our lock of the week. Let's talk about why.
Locking in right now, minus 115. So we bet 500. We only win 434.
I don't care, John. We've been preoccupied with the juice and the money lines. And are you saying you want to take it money line?
Well, I mean, the money line is minus 125, so you might as well just do the minus one because to me, it's, yeah.
All right. I just want to win. We stacked wins. We stack wins. We stack wins. This is the game we feel best about. That's why we're picking this game. Period. Right? Now, why do we feel good about this game? Partly, it's a must-win game for the 49ers. Let's start with that.
I saw on Twitter today their playoff percentage is like 75 if they win, and it's under 50 if they lose. So, I mean, this is obviously for the Bengals, it's a big game too. I mean, the AFC playoffs we've talked about a bunch, but on the DVOA rankings, which are just numbers, no emotion, the Niners are still a top 10 team.
Yeah,
and I saw that they've given up their special teams accounted for like 24 points if you factor in the 2 Seattle games, and obviously, you know, they've just had some. Honestly, everything has gone wrong to get them to where they are right now at 6-6. Think about that. It's not like they've been lucky to get 6-6. Like, they've had to be a disaster to be 6-6. I think most people in the analytical community view them as a team with a better record, like when you just factor in all the EPA stuff, all the different statistics. Now, I think for us that are less numerically tied to every positive with the Niners, like Jimmy Garoppolo is still at the end of the day their quarterback, which is always going to be a roller coaster. Obviously, Burrow is injured. He dislocated his pinky finger, which is on his throwing hand. But like that does neutralize the gap, which obviously Joe Burrow completely healthy is. They have a massive advantage at quarterback, right? I don't give a shit that he leads the league in interceptions.
Yep.
Because honestly, if Kyle would let Jimmy throw more, he'd be right there too, right?
With less of the touchdowns, yeah. With not the upside, but plenty of picks, yeah. I mean, I think that not having Emmanuel Mosley hurts in this game, but it turns out the Chidobe Awuzie, I think, is out for Cincinnati, who's been their best corner. Now they do, and I said this watching the Charger game. I've watched the Charger game twice, Chargers-Bengals, in preparation for this pick. I watched it live in parts and then went back and watched it again Thursday morning. They do make you get rid of this Bengals defensive front, even though they're not 100% on defense. They do make you get rid of the ball quickly. That's something that the 49ers can do. Jimmy Garoppolo can get rid of the ball quickly. Kyle Shanahan can design offense to get rid of the ball quickly. You'd love to have Debo. You can't expect him. I don't expect him at this point. But I don't think, again, you need him in order to run the kind of offense that you can score points on the Bengals with. They do have Trey Hendrickson, John. So, Trey Hendrickson, Trey Lance, Trey Young, Trey Wingo, Trey Turner, Trey Songs, Trey Junkin. Remember Trey Junkin? Bad snap for the Giants, 2002 against the 49ers.
That was the guy's name?
Trey Junkin. Played like 16 years in the league. Poor guy had one bad snap as a sub snapper. Did I say Trey Sermon? I don't know. But Trey Hendrickson's one of the great Treys going right now. I saw a lot of people tweeting. I did a Twitter search. Trey Hendrickson, Rashawn Slater. And there was a lot of, welcome to the NFL, Rashawn Slater. Not a good day at the office, Rashawn Slater. I don't know. I'm no Jeff Schwartz. I watched the end zone copy. I thought Rashawn Slater played pretty well. And guess who the 49ers have at left tackle?
Trent
Williams. So is Trey Hendrickson good? Yes. Is Rashawn Slater good? Yes. And I thought he did a good job. I don't think Trey Hendrickson's going to wreck this game for the 49ers. And so I think they are beat up, yes, but so are the Bengals. And it starts with the Bengals quarterback. At least he's playing. But so are the Bengals.
I'm sold. Mixon missed practice on Wednesday.
Oh.
He's been banged up. I mean, it's just the Niners have to win. I'm going desperation. You would think I saw Hightower, the special teams coach, all on me. Players, not their fault.
14,000 words,
check.
John. Most words
ever
ever
said
said in a press conference by him, according to Eric Branch. We're going to ask a lot of questions.
We saw, and I'm not trying to be an asshole to the guy, but holy shit, we know. You don't need to take responsibility.
Well, you got to ask the question. You don't take responsibility. People are like, why didn't you take responsibility? It's just there's nothing you can do but do it. I mean, it's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, they gotta figure that out. I tweeted, put the special in special teams today. People thought it was a Niners reference. That was not a Niners reference. That was a reference to any coach worth their salt, I find, gives a shit about special teams. But that's a separate conversation. Other games we considered here, we settled on the Niners as our lock. We are going to also add a parlay, but we had talked about a few other games. Your first suggestion, it was this game the other day or Ravens plus 2.5 at Cleveland, right?
Yep.
Which is also appetizing. My problem is I don't think the Ravens suck. I don't think the Ravens are good. I went back and watched the Ravens Steelers game Thursday morning as well. I don't Greg Roman. I mean, it's just now they've had a ton of guys hurt. I think they put like their 9th guy on IR this week. Their offense is just quarterback. You're good. Run around and make plays, and he does some crazy shit.
Sammy Watkins made some plays. Number 14, Sammy Watkins. He's on their team. He made plays.
Well, they do. I don't know what it is that they do other than play pickup hoops right now.
Yeah, but they're 8-4, and the Browns are 6-6. Like they're better.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're good though. That's my point. I don't think the Ravens are good. I don't think they're good. They're good. They're not bad, but they're not like really good.
Well, to me, they're the version of the Niners, right? They are. You've watched them. It's like, how are they not 6-6? Kind of crazy that their record's their record. And I think they easily could be like they've had a couple things go well, right? They've pulled a couple games out of their ass. They had a 62-yard field goal walk-off against the Dan Campbell Lions.
True.
So, and they had a crazy comeback against the Chiefs. They've had just crazy wins. They had a crazy overtime win, I think, against was it the Colts or I guess they killed the Chargers, the Ravens did, but they had the Colts overtime game where Wentz was actually really good. That was a Monday Night Football game, remember? So I am just betting on John Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson over Stefanski, who I don't even blame in him, and really just Baker. Like that's where I actually added a team to the parlay that, another game that I kind of look at and I kind of like.
Okay, before you tell me that, because Baker's been, I think, 3 straight weeks under 60% passing. Obviously, he's hurt. The X factor on this game is these two teams played 2 weeks ago. Baltimore won 16-10. And then Cleveland had a bye. So you figure Cleveland prepared for Baltimore, played them, then hit a bye, had the Baltimore tape, and then more Baltimore preparation, then had the week of preparation for Baltimore. So they've been preparing for Baltimore for 3 weeks. Second shot at them now. Now, Utah did it to Oregon twice in 3 weeks. Just they were the better football team. Bottom line, I would even take Stefanski out of it. Baker, say what you want about him, but he's clearly not healthy. And Lamar Jackson, everything I just described, is having an MVP type season because if you just watch them, all it is let Lamar make plays. Now he does some wild shit. He threw a pick in the end zone early in the Steeler game on 3rd down in the baby zone. That was an easy. Justin Tucker could have kicked that thing backwards, left-footed, eyes closed. He was so close. And guess what happened? They lost by a point. So those 3 points really mattered to them. And then they had Mark Andrews open in the flat, and Lamar kind of did a little sidearm. He was under pressure. Kind of flicked it. Mark Andrews, not Odell Beckham, couldn't get there, and that was that.
It was a tough catch. Would have walked in.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to kill the Ravens here, and especially not Lamar. I think he's carrying them, and the season's deck's been stacked against them since the year started. Really, if they finish where they are right now, like win the North, whatever, extrapolate their record, they're 8-4. It's gonna be a really impressive year. Because they have nobody healthy.
Their first week of practice after already getting a million injuries, they lost their starting running back and their starting corner to torn ACLs like 3 plays apart in a regular season practice. I don't think we've ever seen in NFL history 2 starting players for an NFL team both tear their ACLs in the same practice. That's insane. That's insane.
It's awful.
And they have just kept chopping wood. I respect the shit out of the brand. Same with the Steelers. Like, that was kind of a brand game. Like, both of us, we both should suck, probably, and we just keep, throwing haymakers at each other.
The more we talk about it, the more I like the Ravens against the Browns. Because they're getting 2 points in this game, John.
Well, yeah, that's why we got to parlay them with the Niners.
Okay, so tell me about your parlay.
So we got the Ravens. Okay. We got the Niners.
Yep.
I just think I think there's value with Buffalo Now, obviously, you go Buffalo, Tampa, at Tampa. You'd be like, oh, Tampa. And everyone's going to take Tampa. Buffalo can really throw the ball. Hell, they could throw it in the wind. And Tampa, their DBs are all injured. You cannot run it on them. Luckily, Buffalo can't run it. So you just don't need to run it. Just throw the ball. 3.5 points. Tampa, obviously you got Tom Brady. He tries to win every game. But this isn't like a must win. Buffalo, a little desperate, guy. You talk about a desperation spot. You lose this game, they're 7-5. You lose, they'd be in some trouble. Then they have Belichick next week, right? Or I guess in 2 weeks. So it's just the Buffalo's got to win some games. I feel the Buffalo on the desperation rankings. If Tampa's just a neutral, I mean, they always, when you have Tom on your team, there's always like a level of desperation just with the way you think and practice. But I think Buffalo, like they're back, like this is it. This is a kitchen sink game for them.
Yeah, I mean, John, they would rather be on the road. It's going to be 74 degrees in Tampa.
Where's the game?
Tampa.
Oh, yeah. So they can
now
have a normal game.
Tampa, historically not very good. Tampa owns the Bills. Owns them. And my takeaway watching them the other night against watching Buffalo the other night was they're kind of pissing me off with their offense that night. Now, part of it was having $500 on the game, no question, as you've always said. But
see, it's easier to hate coaches and
absolutely.
referees a little more when you got some cash on. You're like, what the fuck are you doing, Brian?
I'm not
You're
mad at
bald
Josh
ass.
Allen.
Call a play.
Shame.
Well, I saw you tweet out after the final series, like, why are they taking 20-yard shots every play? You don't need to get first downs on second downs.
So I don't love them at all. I think Tampa.
I don't think you can be an objective talker for a living until you put a little money on a game and sit in that seat, because you become a fan of that team immediately, right? Or angered fan.
Absolutely. Alyssa was like, why are you rooting so hard for the Bills? I'm like, you don't understand. I don't want to tell you why. But I don't love Buffalo in this spot. However, you're right, desperate, and they're getting 3 points. So not crazy. I think Tampa's playing good football. Vita Vea, good player. But what was who was the team you added to that parlay? And tell me what.
Football team plus 4.5 at home.
Oh, McCarthy just guaranteed a win. I fucking love it. Okay, so you're thinking $100? What does that pay on a parlay?
12-1. $100 plays $1,200.
Yeah, let's do that.
I wasn't going to add football team, and then I just saw it. I'm like, that game's in Washington. Washington's kind of hot right now. I mean, it feels like they've won 4 or 5 straight games. And that game, he just guaranteed a win. What you talk about anti-Belichick? Why would you do that?
He's going to say, "Well, I know what he's going to say. Well, what am I supposed to say? We're going to lose? Doesn't matter. Not the point, Mike.
Not in this spot where Washington. I would get it if Washington was like a. I guess Belichick. Why would you say that if they were a 2-win team? That just gives them easy. You just don't say that.
No,
meathead.
Move. Now I will say I think Heineke is overrated, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean Dallas should win the game, but 4.5 when you just talk about value, football team's just tough and feisty.
Hey, it's 12-1. There's a reason it's 12-1. If it was obvious, it wouldn't be 12-1. EKBZ says, "Stop it, Ravens and Niners. Getting too cute is how you lost 3 in a row." No, picking college football is how we lost 3 in a row. It wasn't because we got too cute. Actually, I did get too cute. That's not totally false on USC, but this is different. This is NFL, and this is a parlay. The parlay is separate from the streak.
Yeah. I would feel good about putting 500 on the Niners or the Ravens. Just logically, we're just betting on Lamar or we're betting on the Niners in a desperate spot. Like, that's how we've made our money.
Yeah. Les says, I don't love this week's bets for the NFL. Yeah, you never love them on Thursday. It's Monday when you go, oh, that was so obvious. Of course.
But I think part of his point, this is why we've got away from the NFL. It's become a lot more challenging, I felt, the last 2 or 3 weeks.
I know. You're right.
I don't
back.
really love a lot of the slate either.
We back, John. Here we go, everybody. Join the ride. You don't have to. You can fade us if you want, but just don't forget where we've been.
Yeah, we've seen high highs.
What's on our resume?